Welcome back to the All Things Women Summit. How can
Yeah.
women learn to sit with difficult emotions without becoming them just completely taking over them and they become overwhelmed?
Unfortunately, the norm and society and cultures will tell you you can retail therapy, you can hang out with friends, you can go into a spa, you can do all these self-care things that are not really self-care, more
Yeah.
robbing your wallet than
Yeah.
anything else. And the self-care is really going to be about listening to what your body actually needs. And we use also an exercise with labeling where we label those emotions because a lot of times sit with your grief is very vague to people. It's very vague and whittling down to what those grief emotions are at the moment. Because when you tell your brain grief, your brain is like, okay, what do I do with that? And your brain is a processing unit. If you told it sad, it will go, okay, we'll cry. If you told it anger, it goes, okay, we'll fight. But grief, it doesn't know what to do. There's something there that you're mourning that isn't there anymore. And your brain is like, well, if it's not here anymore, what do I do? And so breaking down what your feelings are about. Are you feeling abandoned? Are you feeling lonely? Are you feeling frustrated because the grief is not fair? Like there's a lot of different nuanced feelings that are inside grief. And once we break them down, we can sit in those feelings and actually give the brain enough information to address them.
That is good. So really it begins with identifying like what is even more a specific emotion that someone is
Mhm, mhm.
experiencing because grief can be vague. And then
Yeah.
what if they just get into this place of like there is anger or this sense of abandonment or something like that, but then now they just feel overwhelmed with that.
Yeah, I can tell you a story about that. I use this story as an example. I was as a young mom, my husband gone, and one of the things in the routine of normaling again in my new normal was taking the trash out. And I was, I'd do it, and I would be angry, and I would be
Yeah.
frustrated, like every time taking his trash out, angry and frustrated, and more it began to build up. And one day, as I'm dragging the trash down the driveway, cussing that trash out, the the bag rips and it explodes. And I have like this meltdown of all meltdowns. And I brought this to my therapist. And she goes, okay, that's grief. And I'm like, what does that even mean? And she's like, why were you angry? I'm like, I'm angry at the trash. I'm angry at the fact that I have to do this. She goes, okay, say more. I say, well, I'm angry. This isn't fair that I have to do this. Like, why isn't he here for me? She goes, okay, so you're angry because it's not fair. Why isn't it fair? Why do you think that? And I'm like, well, I shouldn't have to do this. This was his job and he's not here. And she's like, okay, so what if someone else were doing it? And I was like, well, that's a solution. I guess I wouldn't mind if somebody else was doing it. She goes, is anybody, in your family or around that, wouldn't mind doing that and showing the boys and all the things? Cause that was part of it. I was frustrated because my husband wasn't there to show the boys to do the trash. And I mentioned it to my dad at the time, and when he was alive at that time, and he was like, I can come by every Wednesday and do the trash. And it was like, that was okay. And so breaking down why you're angry, why you're grief, like the pinpointing, like there was more in that. It was like, oh, why do you feel like as a woman you should take out the trash? Because my dad did it, because that's how I was raised. And so it drilled all the way down into the roots of why this grief is affecting you this way. And then you can address it. Then you've given your brain enough information to go, oh, central processing unit, we can fix that, and your brain is actually very efficient at fixing it when you give it enough information.
This is good.
Take me